help you. I'm going to go ahead and start the recording, everyone. So what I'm doing is I'm recording this presentation for Cupid, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So, not too fast. Hey there, everyone. I'm just going to start over, and just a reminder, I can't see your chat right now, so please submit your questions in the QA section or in the chat, and then afterwards, I'm going to come back and answer them at the end of the presentation. Presentation will only take about maybe 20-30 minutes, but I talk really fast, so I'm going to try to go slow today. Maybe I'll even figure out how to use one of these fancy annotators, although I did try to use this earlier today. I like the vanishing pen, right, because it goes away. But earlier today when I used it, it did break. So no guarantees on success there. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Good. Okay, so, all right, so here we are. So first things first, what is Cupid? Who am I? My name is Ken. I am the CEO and founder of Cupid. Quick short story of why Cupid exists and where it comes from. I am 31, I am single, and I am gay. I desperately want children. And what that means to me is that it's been really hard to use online dating apps. If you ever go through one of the interviews, I usually share the story, but I, like many people, have expectations for my partner. And it's been very challenging over time to use algorithms and computers and swiping to try to find my mate, to try to find my person. So I developed the concept of Cupid because I believe that through matchmakers and through human-to-human introductions and connections, we can all have better chances and better success with dating. So that's the concept of Cupid. First thing it says on here is Cupid is not a dating app. Cupid is actually a matchmaking app. Cupid has 3 types of users, and today on this webinar, we're going to go into all those users, how they interact, and actually what it looks like to be a matchmaker on Cupid. You know, how to match people, how to search and select. When it comes to matchmakers, though, who are like primarily who we're discussing with today, who you guys are going to become, anyone can become a matchmaker. So we don't believe that you have to have 20 years of experience or any kind of special skill set. We believe matchmakers come in all shapes and sizes. I've actually done over 100 matchmaker interviews so far, and you'd be amazed the variation and the quality of different people that you'll meet who are going to be different and matchmakers for certain communities. So to become a matchmaker through Cupid, you do have to do 3 things. Once we launch our app next month, you're going to have to pass our ethics test. You'll have to go through some training and some testing, and that could be an interview. We're kind of working with that right now, what it looks like to become a matchmaker. And finally, you'll be incentivized to invite clients and singles. What it looks like to be a matchmaker on Cupid, it's always going to be free. We will never charge you $1, so you never have to pay a subscription fee to become a matchmaker. You could do this as little part-time as 1 client per month, or you could have up to hundreds of clients. We'll kind of talk about that a little later. Our training and our community is always free. So we do have a Discord channel that I'll ask Martina to pop in the chat right now so you can pop the invite link. Please join us on Discord. I'm going to have some QR codes in here about that. But Discord is this live chat app where we all hang out and we kind of share updates and host things like this webinar. So please come join us there. Next, let's talk about how it works to be a matchmaker. So your client will hire you for $99 a month on Cupid. That means someone comes to the Cupid app, whether they're a single or someone you meet in real life, they hire you as their matchmaker and they pay Cupid $99 a month. Then you are paid between 60 to 80% of that revenue based on how much you contribute to the community. When you have more clients and you invite more singles, you get paid that 80%. That's what we're all going for. So we're gonna work really hard to make sure you get there. Today, though, we're not talking about money as much. We're gonna talk a little bit more, but what we're talking about mostly is about your job and what it actually looks like to do the job. What is this? What does it take? How much effort does it take? Great question I get all the time on my interviews. How much time investment does this take? So your job as a matchmaker is to search, screen, and select potential matches for your clients. And you can find more about this on cupid.io/careers, but I'm going to keep going. Real quick, you can find this also on cupid.io/careers. This gives you a good understanding of the expected revenue you can get just from the subscription revenue that when your clients subscribe to you. So very quickly, with a relatively small number of clients, you can start paying a mortgage bill. You can start paying, you can start getting a substantial amount of side income or full-time income, depending on your needs. So this is what I'm really pumped about today. I don't want to pause to get to questions yet because I want to get into the experience. I've worked very hard on the logic, not just me, it's also my team, I apologize. The whole team at Cupid is working very hard on the experience with dating. If you've ever used Tinder or Bumble or Hinge or any of those other, dating apps, you've probably experienced some negativity, some drop-off. There's so many issues with how it works. Today, I'm going to talk to you about how we do it on Cupid with matchmakers and how we are trying to make it better. So, how it works on Cupid. First thing we're going to talk about your job as a matchmaker. Your job is the 3 S's: to search, to screen potential matches, and select them. And I'm going to explain a little bit more about what those pieces mean. Then I'm going to talk about singles. Singles are always free. This is just someone who joins Cupid. They never pay anything. They create a profile, and they are usually screened by matchmakers and then set up on dates. Singles can be converted or can subscribe to a matchmaker. So a single can hire a matchmaker and then they become a client. When a single becomes a client, they get all kinds of new functionality. They work with one of you and you start helping them find those potential matches. And we'll talk about First Looks, which is our dating system. We'll talk about the amazing scheduling system we built in, because isn't it delightful, the idea of actually having a date on the calendar? Imagine if you use Tinder or Bumble or Hinge like I have for a decade, you know that it is 90% of the battle is to meet that person or have them commit to just doing more than saying, hey, hi, how's your day? Right? Am I right? Okay, so let's get into it. So first things first, I want to talk about the Matchmaker Experience. Whenever you use our mobile app, which is coming very soon, early next month, and that's in September 2022 coming, you're going to be able to filter through our database. So we're going to have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, eventually millions of singles in our database. This is an example, so please don't hold us to this. This is not exactly how it's going to look. But we're going to give you profiles and deep search criteria. Usually it's going to be based on location, but it could be based on age, religion, all kinds of things that your potential clients might want to filter for. So we're going to give you all those tools as a matchmaker, because as your job is to search for these people. Now, big caveat, we are going to highly incentivize you and push and talk about it all the time. We need more singles. The only way that we are all going to be successful as matchmakers is to invite more singles to the platform, because your friend who's invited to the platform, the chances are, is likely going to be a potential fit for my client and vice versa. We are all in a part of this community to bring on more singles. So searching is done online on the Cupid database and offline. Now, matchmakers, one of your biggest questions to me is, how much time does this take? We are obsessing over your time and making sure this is an efficient business for you. When a new single that's a good fit for your client joins the community, we are immediately going to send you a push notification and say, hey, your client Susie might be interested in Jack. You should screen Jack immediately. So you're not always expected to do all the heavy lifting of going into the platform and searching through every profile. We are aggressively working to try to fix those problems and make it better for you. You're going to get deep profiles. And this, if you've ever used a dating app or Tinder or Bumble or Hinge, I'm hoping you're going to fall in love with some of our strategies here. Quick coffee. So some of the things that are different on a Cupid profile, and you'll see here, this is part of the screening. Cupid profiles will be very similar to a Hinge, where you'll have pictures and videos from whatever a single or client originally creates their profile. What's different? The screening system inside of Cupid. So let's say you are my matchmaker, right? And if you've heard this on an interview, you probably know, hi, I'm Ken, I am gay, so probably not a good fit for Elizabeth, but that's okay. And I am super allergic to cats. I love them, I'm just allergic. So one of the very basic screening questions you could ask someone like Elizabeth would be, a question like, hi there, Elizabeth, do you have a plan to have cats in the future? Do you have a cat, or do you have any cats, or do you want cats in the future? That's a great screening question. It's easy, it's not specific about their client, it doesn't divulge any personal information about who I am, and it helps you understand, are they going to be a good fit for your client? Now, you could see this applying in religious views, or you could see this applying in location, in children, family plans, all kinds of things. But we really want that screening to be efficient, because this is not a live conversation. You as the matchmaker submit a screening question to a single. But here's the beauty. Over time, as those screening questions amass on a user's profile, we get timestamps. We know the last time that single was active, and we get lots of responses. So you're going to get a real feel for someone instead of just a text response, because whenever, as you can see here at the bottom, it says first thing we like to notice what is when you meet someone. What's the first thing you notice when you meet someone, right? The English is a mess, but it's just the design mocks. You see that the person responded in an audio message. Interesting. We at Cupid are obsessed with audio and video. We're trying to reduce the quantity of text, other than when you chat someone, reduce the quantity of text, because when I ask you a question, I need to hear you. I need to see you. I need to understand what you have to say. So as a matchmaker, when you are screening singles or screening someone else's client, you make requests in text, and all the responses either come in video or voice. This is, super unique to our platform. And one of the things we think is going to make us special. It's going to make your job easier to screen. And obviously, we're going to help you screen and see, have you asked the same question someone else has asked before? Guys, I see some QA questions coming. I'm going to wait until the very end to answer all of them. And I promise it won't be too long. But I hope this is informative. Please keep the QA questions coming. Next, after you've screened that person, so for me, Elizabeth Allen, right? She's not allergic to cats. Amazing. She gave you a video response. She was really thoughtful in her response, and she seems attractive. Seems like someone I would get along with, even though I'm clearly gay, but you get it. So then the last piece is to select. So your job now as a matchmaker is to now send over this single to one of your clients with a blurb, a couple hundred characters. Like, for example, if you're sending to Robert Fox, this very first guy right here, you'd say, hey there, Robert. I did a little bit of screening on Elizabeth. I think she's a really great fit for you. What do you think? Do you think she's going to be a good fit? That is your job, matchmakers. Now you might say, okay, but what about the date? And what about all the other pieces? We have made the first aspect of Cupid your job: search, screen, select. There's more to come, but this is the core of your work. Now we get into the client experience. So what happens is we call this a first look. So whenever we went back, you delivered this to your client. You selected that single for your client, or that individual's profile. What you're doing in our system is called a first look. The reason why is the single does not get to see your client first. Your client is paying. Your client is paying for privacy. They're paying you to do the service for them. Your client doesn't really need their profile being sent to people that they're not interested in. So why would we send it to the single? So your client receives this first look. And I know it's confusing because that's the exact same photo. I should have used a different photo, I'm sorry. But imagine, this is me, like I'm the client, right? My first time seeing Elizabeth Allen's profile. Not only do I get to see her profile, but I get to see all the questions she's answered. So I have a pretty good understanding of who she is. And the more questions Elizabeth has answered, the more useful her profile becomes. And boom, now we really have some useful information. Then comes my rating. So over here, this is me as the client. I am going to rate. And first question, binary, yes or no. Do you want to go on a date with this person? Yes or no. This is going to define whether or not we go forward at all. Then we're going to say, how well does this person match you? What this is, a lot of this information is two uses. Number one, useful for your matchmaker to help better understand you, and to also in quasi rate your matchmaker to say, is your matchmaker sends you 2 or 3 1-star, doesn't match you, they're probably not a good fit for you. Either they're not listening to you, or you guys just don't understand each other, and maybe it's not a good fit. But hopefully you'd also add a bit about what you like about them and what you don't like. This is paramount. So useful when the client does that, because we can say, okay, he's really unattracted to blonde hair, which is vapid, we agree, but okay. Or she really requires him to be above 6 foot tall, common issue, right? So, and those are things we can also work on. Maybe they're flexible things, maybe they're workable, but at least we understand. But for the case of this presentation, this webinar, let's just say the client, Ken, said, yes, I want to go on a date with Elizabeth Allen. I gave her a 4-star out of 5. I just didn't feel like I got enough out of her on her profile, but fine, let's go for it. So then goes to the single. So remember, what's happened so far is you, as the matchmaker, you searched for someone, you screened them, you selected them. They then, your client receives that first look. When the client says, yes, I'm down to meet this person, I think they're really interesting, I want to go on a date. Now it comes to the single, exact same experience. The single receives my information, the client, or Elizabeth Allen, sorry, it's confusing, receives the client's profile. This is the first time the single is seeing the client's profile. And what happens is they go through the exact same review process. Yes or no, do you want to go on a date with this person? How well they match you? What did I like? What did I not like? Okay. Now, the what I like, what do I not like is not sent to each other. Like it doesn't, when your client says, I don't like their teeth, that doesn't get sent to the single and vice versa. That only goes to the matchmaker. Remember, the matchmaker is here in the middle to get a lot of this information. But let's just say the client and the single both said, yes, I want to go on a date. Here's something totally different. And guys, I see more QA questions coming. I promise I'm going to answer them in the end. I'm actually almost done. Cupid is not that hard. So let's say both the single and the client said, yes, we want to meet each other. What happens next is so cool. And this is basically, I have so many dreams that came out of Cupid, but this is one of the coolest parts. What happens next is that single is prompted with your client's schedule. So what happens here, you can see over here, it's a crude version. But basically what I've done, what your client has done here is said, oh, every Wednesday night, I'm open Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 10:30, 4 p.m. to 4:30, and 7:30 to 8:30, right? Select one of those times. This is the single, the person that they said, yes, your client wants to go on a date with them. And the single proposes a date time. One of the biggest challenges that we saw during our research was getting from match, like I'm interested in this person, to date. Cupid cuts out the entire middle. You'll notice there's no chat, there's no communication between there. There was the client that said, yes, I want to meet them. Single said yes. Single is automatically pushed to do the work of booking a potential time on the client's calendar. And the beauty of all of this comes back to the client. The client experience is who's paying and who's paramount. Comes back as a date was proposed. And here it says rescheduled, but let's just say it was proposed and you can confirm it. And so then it has all the information. It says your date's on Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 10:30. You can reschedule it as the client. But then again, the client is asked, do you want it to be a video or an audio date? Your choice, client. You get to choose and confirm. This is the beauty of Cupid. If you think about the experience from your client's point of view, what happened here was your client hired you. You, as a matchmaker, went out and searched, you screened, you selected a potential match. All the client had to do was talk to you, tell them what they think. They received this match. They said, yes, I'm interested. A few hours later, they received a date request with a time that's specific. We think this is such a small advance. When you really think about technology in a whole, it's a small advance, but it is seismic. It is a totally different situation. Now we have it on people's schedule. Now we're committed. We're actually going into dates. Now, this brings up lots of questions like, okay, what happens if they miss the date? Or what happens if they need to reschedule? We as the tech solution are handling that. It's not your job as a matchmaker. You're not responsible for scheduling or working on these pieces. And if someone misses a date, we penalize them. Like, again, not your problem. But they go on this date, and then afterwards, they simply review each other. Very similar. Would you want to go on a second date with this person? How was it? Yes or no? And once that happens, chat is opened up. And they get to start communicating freely, and they get to start scheduling their second date. And that was our job. We've accomplished our job as matchmakers. So just to take you back, what we did was we searched, we screened, and we selected a potential match for our customer, for a client. The single got screened and said, yes, we wanted to go on a date. And all your client received was someone's profile that was interesting to them. They wanted to go on a date with. They got a date proposed on their calendar, your client's calendar, that was convenient for them. And they went on a voice and video date. What a dream, right? So I'm going to go ahead and stop there. That really is as simple as it is. So I'm going to come over to the Q&A. And just kind of open it up. I went really fast. I'm sorry I went so fast, guys. So I'm going to come back and start with these questions. And I'm here to hang out with you. I have as much time as you need until 3 p.m. EST. So I'm going to go ahead and start with Deb's question first. So Deb, your question is, are clients ever allowed to search? The answer is no. So what Deb is asking is, client hires you as a matchmaker. Are your client's allowed to go into the directory and start searching through the different singles? The answer is no. They are hiring you as a matchmaker to search exclusively. The only users that are able to see our database are matchmakers, no one else. So singles cannot search, clients cannot search. They are relying on you to do the work for them to screen. And this is all really comes back to one of our core beliefs that we've kind of come to, which is humans match humans better than algorithms. Full stop. Are we going to use a lot of tech to support you matchmakers? Absolutely. That's our job. We're going to make it as easy as possible and try to give you smart suggestions of like, maybe Katie fits with, Brian, or maybe Jack fits with Jill. But we are relying on you, the human touch, the human intuition. Are they really going to fit? Our algorithms are going to miss things, as all algorithms do. All right, keep those questions coming. How are we feeling? I'm looking at the chat. I'm gonna go through the QA, get a quick sip of water. Anyone have any questions? Anything you guys wanted to hear? We got 9 people that showed up. Give me more questions, give me more chat. Tell me more about how you feel. The next question we have is, how are singles screened for veracity? And how will we avoid scammer profiles? Okay, so I'm gonna answer this live. We're going to do a lot to make Cupid a very different experience when it comes to reality. One of the first things that we're going to do is use 2-factor authentication. So you're going to need a phone number and an email. In the future, we'll do things like checking real IDs and real ID verification. There's even been requests for background checks. All of those things are possible. We're going to do a lot of screening on our side to work hard to deliver real profiles for real people. That's what we want to be. We want to be a completely different solution than most dating apps that only require you to pop in with an email. You can even steal someone's photos. And, I just think it's kind of scary out there, the way current dating works. It's also, I will call out, one of the reasons why we want all of our singles online and all of our clients to go on a video or voice date first. Number one, when we hear them go on a voice date or a video date, we can collect information from that and like collect laughs, collect silences. We can deliver you, a matchmaker, a dashboard of how their date went. Did someone show up late? Like all kinds of statistics. Can also give advice on how the date went. But even more important than all of that, whenever we started Cupid, we screened 1,000 women because we believe that women are a paramount part of our community. And we screened 1,000 women, and the women said to us, the most important thing to us on dating and dating apps and dating experiences is absolutely safety. So it's not so much to ask that the very first time you meet someone, you go on a voice or a video date. It's not so much to ask. It's actually a rule by a lot of different matchmakers. Always call first. So that's what we're trying to achieve. Okay, we have a lot of more people coming. Guys, if you're new to this, we just finished the presentation. You can go to the bottom of your screen in Zoom and press QA and submit your question, or you can submit it in the chat. I'm here for as long as you guys want to hang out. You can ask me, questions about how did Cupid start? Why are you doing this? Like, how much money can you make? Give me good types of matchmakers. Give me any kind of question you have. So I'm going to answer Cassidy next. Rashida, I see your question. So I'm going to do Cassidy, Deb's question, and then Rashida's. All right, quick drink. And Cassidy says, will there be a way for us matchmakers to work together to set our clients up with each other? Also, will matchmakers have profiles for singles to screen through and choose they want as a matchmaker? So the answer is yes. Cassidy, we're thinking very hard right now on what it looks like for matchmakers to connect with matchmakers. Of course, if someone has a client, you're absolutely expected to work with that client to help them find a match. So there's nothing stopping you, Cassie, if you're a matchmaker and I have a matchmaker that works for me named Paul, there's nothing stopping you from sending my profile, even though I'm Paul's client, to one of your clients and vice versa. The work together part, that's why we have this online Discord right now, because we're still trying to figure out exactly how you work together and like what changes there. But we're definitely going to have, some ways for you to work together. But the answer is yes. Second part of your question was, will all matchmakers have profiles for singles and for clients to screen through? The answer is yes. So whenever the mobile app comes out, you will absolutely have a profile. And the goal of this profile, it's a great question, Cassidy. Here's what we dream of the profile. So you started as a matchmaker, you have 5 clients, you're doing well, your clients are happy, they're scheduling dates, they're satisfied with your service, and you go to a wedding party. I went to a wedding about 2 months ago. It was a beach wedding here in Florida where I live. And I was sitting at a table with me and 7 women. I started talking about my company. I'm excited about it. I can't help it. And I actually had 2 women throw their credit cards at me, which I thought was like hilarious because they're drunk, but also like these women are from the age of like 25 to 35. They understand that they would like to be meeting more quality matches. And so if I were a matchmaker in that situation, I would simply pull out Cupid and go to my profile and show them my QR code and say, you can scan me and sign up right now. if you'd like to experience what it's like to work with a matchmaker, we could talk about, we could go through an interview, and you could acquire, 3 or 4 clients right there sitting at that table. So absolutely, there'll be a whole matchmaker database where clients, once clients hire you, they're clients, so they don't need to access the matchmaker database. But singles will absolutely be able to see that matchmaker database and connect with matchmakers. One more piece. Whenever we launch next month, we're going to be starting a social media campaign. So Cassidy, we're going to spend a lot of money on trying to get you more singles and more clients in your area that are interested in working with you. So we'll be doing this all throughout, the next couple of years. Like, we're going to work really hard for this. So we are going to have it. We're in the single database. Let's say you're in Tennessee, right? Let's say, you're in a city in Tennessee. When someone raises their hand in the app and says, I'd like to speak to a matchmaker, we're going to ping you immediately. So we're going to try to notify you and help you talk to those potential clients fast. So the answer is yes, you'll be able to look at the singles database and see who wants to meet a matchmaker. All right, my next question is from Deb, and then I see we have a question from Rashida in the chat. So next question is, how often are clients allowed to change matchmakers? Deb, I'll be honest with you, we don't know. We haven't figured this out yet because it'll really depend on that client. We're thinking maybe there'll be a timeline for the client. If they need to change a matchmaker, obviously, we want the best matchmakers to rock. And if our clients aren't happy, we simply have to let them change if they want to. So we're not sure. This is a really challenging question for us because, Deb, you as a matchmaker don't want a client that isn't happy. And vice versa. The client, if they're not satisfied with the work ethic that you're putting in or the matches you're providing, maybe it's not a good fit for you too. So we don't really want to limit you on changing matchmakers and vice versa. So it's a great question. It's something we don't have an answer to yet. So we're thinking about it. If you have some suggestions, Deb, I would love to hear it. It does come down to money and payment and things, but we will see. It's something we just haven't figured out yet. All right, I've answered all the questions in the QA. So now I'm going to pop over to the chat and read through it a little bit. So D. Jordan says, can you match a client with a client? The answer was yes. I think we kind of already answered that one. Next one, Rashida, are you limited to a certain region, city, or state? I'm assuming that question is as a matchmaker. So Rashida, my answer is no. You're not limited. So you can work with clients. If you are living like I am in Florida, you can work with clients in Alaska and vice versa. The only reason why we believe currently, we're not sure, all of this is very new, but we believe as Cupid, whenever someone in, let's say, Orlando, Florida, raises their hand as a single and says, I want to talk to a matchmaker, we are more likely to serve them potential matchmakers and notify those potential matchmakers in Orlando. The reason why is dating is inherently locally based. It doesn't mean you're not going to have clients that are willing to fly out to meet their partner. I will. I'll go to Alaska if my husband's there. Like, I'll go in a heartbeat. But we're probably going to prioritize locally or whoever matchmaker is closest to you. But that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to fit you best. You might have a language difference. You might have a religion difference with this matchmaker. Like me, maybe you have a sexuality difference. And might prefer to work with a matchmaker who has a deep understanding of the queer community or being gay themselves. All of these things are the client's choice, right? So in the end, the client chooses. And that's why it's so important for us to have lots of matchmakers to fit our clients' needs. Next, what are we doing to protect the participants, D says. D, I think you mean, it's like kind of a similar question to like vetting profiles and screening profiles to see if they're real people. As I mentioned, in the future, we do plan to do some screening and background checks and real ID verification. It is very expensive. So that is something we want to do. It is going to have to be something we do in the future, but we'll have multi-factor authentication, phone number, email, and things like that. So that's on its way early next year. Before I get to the next question, I want to talk to you guys about community and growth. As I mentioned, we are launching next month. So early September, we are going to have the app on the Android store and the Apple store. So we'll ask you around that time, come join us, give us a good review, and help us get out there. What is so important to help Cupid have a successful launch are two things: matchmakers and singles. Believe it or not, we've had success running some ads on social media to find clients pretty quickly. But for every client, we need 10 to 20 to 50 to 100 singles. So if you're considering doing this service and becoming a matchmaker, what we want to invite you to do right now, please leave this webinar, invite 5 people. send them to cupid.io/join, or if you want to track who you're inviting, you can go to cupid.io/invite. Martina can go ahead and shoot those links in the chat. She's our community manager, and she's also on Discord. But we're really looking for more singles to join now. So on launch day, we have a nice full database of people, and we're not lacking. And then on the other side are those matchmakers. Part of my job right now, before we actually launch, I get to interview matchmakers, which is so cool. Tell you about someone I recently met. They happen to be in New Jersey, and this person is a matchmaker who is on the leadership board of a roller derby league. What a cool person, what a cool community. They're in the international roller derby community. That means they have a super unique take on people, super unique access to these folks. That's going to be totally different than you and everyone here. And what's cool about that is pulling in those people from all walks of life into this matchmaking service. And so I asked that this person, this matchmaker, please, if you know other people who would be good matchmakers in your community, please invite them to us, because this is a group effort. We need other matchmakers to help us find potential matches for our clients. All right, I'm gonna go back to chat and go for some more questions. Deb, I see you have a question, but I'm gonna go to chat first and then go to the QA. Okay, Rashida, your question was, will we be provided like a business card to share out? The answer is no. We thought about this. We thought we were gonna buy business cards for you guys, but honestly, pollution, do we really need more business cards in the world? And number two, we're gonna give you an app. The app is 100% free. Once you pass through, you'll have a profile. You can share a link, which is arguably much more valuable. You'll have a QR code, you'll have a link to invite people, but we really want to track who is joining through you. And then whenever you shoot out Cupid, we don't want them going to the Matchmaker database. We want them going to your Matchmaker profile. So that's who we want it to go to. So we believe that the link in your profile system is a better value. Will we stop you from making Matchmaker business cards? No. Are we going to provide them? No. Hope that answers your question, Rashida. Next one. D, how long are we asked them to commit to Cupid before they leave? D, great question. There's no commitments and no contracts. So when your client joins, they're assuming that you're going to provide an amazing service and they pay $99 a month. Now, you might say to yourself, okay, well, what if they have a bad 2-date experience? A lot of this comes down to your experience with the client. Sometimes things just don't work out, and that's just life. The last thing we want to do is try to lock someone into a 12-month contract. Think about those companies, right? That love to lock us into 12-month contracts or 6-month contracts. We're not satisfied with the service. It's not good for us. It's not good for Cupid. We don't want that. So this is an at-will contract. So D, if your client is satisfied with you, they stay for longer. If they're not satisfied, they leave. And that's simply the way a business is. Next question. Okay, Rashida says, is that a question willing to travel or meet match that they're asked to the clients? So whenever we go into an onboarding process, that's not a current question we have, but I think, Martina, I'm gonna ask you to write that one down. That might be a really interesting and attractive question for our onboarding process. Are you willing to relocate if we connect you with another client, or are you willing to travel to meet someone? In this remote world and the world of work from home, our lives have changed. We don't all have to live in the same city in the same town anymore, and it's much easier to move. So Rashida, that is a great question, and I am so excited to talk to you. It seems like you have some really great questions. So yeah, it's not required, and you're welcome, Rashida. It's not required for them to be in the same location, and we can absolutely figure that out during the process. And y'all, I just want to say thank you for attending today. This is my dream and my baby, but this conversation helps us get better and helps us provide you a better platform so you can run your matchmaking business. So thank you. Next question. Before we launch, will singles be charged? Singles are never charged, Rashida. So I want to be clear. We launch early next month. We do not charge singles ever. So singles can join now and prospective clients can join now. Everyone can join onto the wait list, but never ever are singles charged. Only once a single hires a matchmaker, then they become a client, then they are charged. That is the only time. Next question, D says, can you create QR codes for us to share? The answer, D, is yes, I am. So on your profile, whenever you pull up your Matchmaker profile, your QR code will be right there every time. And it'll be unique and trackable, and you'll get statistics. It'll say how many people took a scan of it, how many people clicked it, how many people saw your profile every day, every week, every month. And then you'll know how many people decided to set a meeting with you to interview you, how many singles wanted to interview you to become their matchmaker. So we're going to load you down with statistics and lots of information. Basically, we understand that this could be a side hustle or a part-time business, but hopefully if we do a really great job, and so do you, this could be a full-time job that makes way more money than you've ever made before. And that's what we're seeing from a lot of matchmakers, is they do an interesting work or they like what they do, but matchmaking is fulfilling and matchmaking is exciting. So, D, I'm so glad you like it. Yeah, we're really, really pumped to work with you. Yeah, it seems like we're all feeling it. Okay, all right. I'm going to try to answer one more question. Okay, so Dee's last question, then I'm going to Deb's question. Dee's question is, do we match domestic and international? So the beauty of Cupid is you as matchmakers are in control. We are not focusing internationally right now. We're brand new. So we're going to focus on the USA for this, probably the next year. Depending on how fast we grow, we might expand internationally. We're not going to stop international work, but we're definitely not working on translating the app or doing any of those pieces yet. We're just not ready. We have to focus on getting our first, million singles in the United States first. That's the goal, right? Getting lots of successful matchmakers and learning how to make you guys successful. That's our job. And training you, because you might, connect with your hairstylist or your nail tech, or someone you meet at a basketball game and say, hey, you really should, or maybe a realtor, right? Realtors are our favorite. Maybe you should become a matchmaker and welcome them into the profession. Invite them to come try it out. And we have to be able to train them to learn how to do this. And that's our job as Cupid. We have to provide that training. So we have a lot of work to do before we're ready to grow internationally. But my answer to you is, we are never going to stop you from making a match from someone, domestically in the United States and internationally. We don't have a problem with that. Let me go to Deb's question, the QA. Okay, so Deb said, how will this service intersect with other dating apps? I could see this as a specialty service that could be marketed to other apps, or maybe clients also would maintain other apps while they search. Got a good answer for you, Deb. In the dream world, we are a step above dating apps. If you want to go swipe your life away, or if you want to go pretend like all those photos on Tinder are real and they're not robots, or you want to look at advertisements, we welcome your clients to do that. Think of that for your clients as practice. Dating is a skill. We have to get better at it. We have to be social, we have to be engaging, we have to listen actively. There's so much we have to do. So any date is a good date, whether it comes through Cupid or not. The difference is, when working with Cupid, your client has someone to talk to about dating. Think about your client's life. How often is your client, telling all their friends, asking for advice, probably getting mixed advice, and they have to be concerned about the advice or telling their friend about someone because that friend might meet that person. As a matchmaker, we are a beautiful third party. We're not biased. We're there to work for the client. We're not a therapist. We're not having to give, medical or any kind of legal advice. We're a shoulder to lean on, to listen to. A guiding star, someone to help you understand what you're going through. So the answer there is absolutely, we are a tangent. We're outside of dating apps because we're a matchmaking service. They're hiring someone to help them get better at this, to not only find matches, but also talk to and get better. Deb, I hope that answers your question. We're going to have some really cool stuff coming up in the future. Next question is from Rashida in the Q&A, and it says, will we be able to have meetups for matchmakers, or maybe even meetups for clients? I'm going to answer this live. So Rashida, right now we're so new. We've had over 700 matchmakers sign up in the last 2 weeks, and they are from, I think we have all 50 states already. We've had a lot of activity, which we are so excited about. And let me say again, please invite more matchmakers to the platform. Every new matchmaker is going to talk about what they do as their side hustle, as their business. They're going to bring in new singles, and some of those singles are going to be matches for your clients and vice versa. We need each other. We have to bring in more matchmakers, and we have to bring in more singles to become successful. The answer is meetups. So my dream, y'all, if we do really well as a community, my dream is we're going to host a huge convention in 2023. We're going to host it here in Florida, probably towards the end of 2023. So that'll be a few months from now, next year. So let's say 15 months from now, to celebrate the very first year of Cupid being online. We're going to throw a massive party. This is only for matchmakers, not for clients, not for anyone else. It's for matchmakers. We're going to celebrate your business. And you've never been to one of my parties, but they're really fun. So hopefully next year, end of the year, 2023, let's think October, November, December. October's my birthday, so that'll be really fun. So something around then, I want to do a huge party, and we'll probably do an annual convention, and we might even do things in the future that might be, meetups or things like that, but we will see. So Rashida, I promise you, we plan to meet up in the future. Last question from Deb, and then I'm going to read through some of the chat. Deb says, would we have chat time with the clients? How much roughly? So Deb, I'm going to try to interpret your question. So what I think you mean is, when a single wants to sign up with you to become your client, will we have time to chat with them? Once someone becomes your client as a matchmaker, you can chat with them all you want. Before the date, when their date's going to happen. You can see it on your profile and on your dashboard. You can chat after. You get a report before of how much they like each other and a report after. So you absolutely are open to talk to that client anytime. And you'll be able to voice and video chat with that client. So Deb, you're not required to give out your personal phone number, and you can just have it all on Cupid, so you can silence it when you want to go to bed, and you're not getting pinged in the middle of the night. What do I do? What do I do on this date? So, you can still have a real life. Deb, let me know if I answered your question. I think I did. And we're not going to limit how much you can chat with your client at all. Awesome. I'm loving these questions. Okay, we got 20 minutes left. I'm going to scroll up in the chat and see what else I've got. That is so perfect. Dee, I'm so glad you like what we're doing. We're really proud of what we're building. Rashida, digital business cards. Yeah, guys, Cupid is going to develop lots of different tools to help you share out what you're doing and share out your business. But if you find other tools and services that you want to use, we know Linktree or Instagram, or gosh, we interview matchmakers. Some of you have huge social media networks. Sharing the link there and talking about what you do, it's a great way to start, right? It would be a super gift to us if you'd be willing to jump onto Instagram or even TikTok, create a reel or create a TikTok and just say, hey, I'm looking to become a matchmaker. What do you guys think of this? Like, do you think it's interesting? Would you join for free? Would you become, one of my clients, and could I help you with your dating life? And would you like a shoulder to lean on? I think you'd be amazed how many people are interested in this. It's amazing how often I bring it up in conversation, how often someone says, where do I sign up? So it's not a question of if it's possible, it's just when. I'm gonna read some more. Cassidy, I'm so excited. You said this is your dream. You're excited about the app. Yeah, we really can't wait for the app either. I promise you it's coming next month. After this meeting, I go into a deep, dark tunnel where I just go through the app and fix all the buttons that aren't currently working. Yeah, a lot of people have come to us and said they want to be matchmakers. We are trying to build Cupid to be the perfect solution for everyone. For a client who wants to find their person and doesn't have, 5 or 10 or 20 or $50,000 or $100,000 that many professional matchmaking companies might offer. They don't have that kind of money. And so, it's also an unreasonable charge, right? It doesn't need to be so expensive. And also for the matchmaker, trying to make this an efficient job where you can spend maybe, a couple hours a day or even less, depending on how many clients you have, and make it efficient for you to do what you can do and really help those clients out. But we're always thinking of ways that you can make more money and provide better services to your clients. So guys, if you have ideas, please join that Discord channel. And Martina, would you go ahead and share that link for the Discord channel in our chat? I'm gonna go ahead, if I don't see you do it in about a second, I'm gonna share it there. But definitely would love for you guys to join us on Discord. We're having another one of these webinars on Thursday. So I'd love to hang out then, and we'll talk a little bit more about strategy going forward. Okay. Meetups, cool. So excited, it's taking off. Yeah, thank you so much, Isabella. Like we really can't wait either. We're so pumped. And I have one more question from Rashid. Does anyone else have any more questions? Because we're getting to about time. So we have 17 minutes left. I'm happy to hang out, but I do have more matchmaker interviews after this, and then I've got to go get into the tech. So Rashida's question is, how do the singles we invite get linked to us when they become a client? So Rashida, there's two things you're asking. So right now, before the app launches, whenever you invite a single, we ask you to use cupid.io/invite. You can sign up right there, right now. And that part is you'll be able to get a unique link, and you'll be able to send that to your friends, your connections, or on TikTok or on Instagram. Send that to a person who you want to join, and that person will be tracked back to you whenever you log into the app the first time. So boom, you'll have a bunch of singles already attributed to your email. Also, whenever a single signs up with you as and becomes a client of yours, they are now linked to you in your profile. You'll always be able to see them. You'll have a dashboard of your income, how long they've been a client with you, when you'll get paid. All of those good things will be on the app. So everything is done from the mobile app. You don't have to use multiple apps. Everything exists inside of Cupid. And then lastly, when will we get our Matchmaker interview? So Rashida, that's a great question. We opened up our Matchmaker application just 2 weeks ago, and we had 700 signups. I had budget for 200 meetings. And so now for the next month and a half, I am on meetings basically every 15 minutes to interview people. So Rashida, what I'd like you to do is reach out to me on Discord. I'm going to find some time for you. You're clearly going to be an amazing matchmaker. You're passionate about the community. We want to invite you. So please join me on Discord. Let's chat there, and I'll find a time that works with your schedule. Okay, all right, y'all. I'm popping over. Just wanted to see, already on Discord. Great, Rashida. So reach out to me directly there. I'm Ken Barton, Cupid CEO on the Discord channel. We'll talk there. Do we have any more questions for anyone? Thanks for being so responsive, Rashida. It's really fun. You guys, when you do one of these webinars, it's scary because you're like, oh, I hope people show up because I'm investing my time and we're doing this. So I'm really excited. For those, so let's go ahead and talk about the recording. So for those of you watching the recording, you can join us at cupid.io to become a matchmaker or to join as a single. If you want to join our community, you have to apply to become a matchmaker, and you'll go through our process and you can join our Discord channel. We are trying to host events every week. So we'll host events that will having us, like Martina just put into our chat. On Thursday, we'll be hosting an event there that is going to be talking about some more parts of Cupid. So please come hang out with us again that day. Any questions, any ideas, any suggestions you have, we welcome them all. Please come join us again. And then this Sunday, I'm going to have an AMA, an Ask Me Anything, which is where I might even open up the live environment and show you guys what it looks like to click around the app. But an AMA and an Ask Me Anything is really just like hang out. So if we don't have any more questions, y'all, I think I'm going to go ahead and close early. Thank you so much for attending. You can hop over to Discord. I'll be there. I'm there 24/7. Martina Castro is our community manager. So she can answer questions for you sometimes faster than I can from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. because I have meetings and development stuff. But thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Dee. Thank you, Jayla. Thank you, Rashida. Thank you, Cassidy. Thank you guys for asking questions. Thanks, Deb. Really appreciate it. And I'm going to go ahead and end. And thank you guys so much.